Success boils down to one thing: numbers. If you don't have an addiction to the amount of things that you've done in a day, the amount of results that you've produced in your life, you're not going to be all that successful. The reality is, repetition is the thing that really gets us specialized and really makes us feel like we're making progress in life. Something that each of us desires deeply, in a sense that we don't even understand a lot of the time. There is something about progress, something about creating things that is required in the human condition. Numbers are a way for us to gauge really our potential, our ability to produce at a level that is sought after by other human beings, right? Other members of society. If you are an artist, the number of pieces you create matters, right? There is a sense of believing that the quality of the work that we do is important. And I agree, it is. But the reality is, you cannot expect to be great at something the first time you do it. So the first time you do something, you put a bunch of work into it and you don't release it forever, and your potential for producing a beautiful thing is actually not even as high as it could be. So all of that effort, all of that time, not necessarily wasted, but it's with a novice approach, an ignorant approach of believing that the first time you do something, it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be amazing. Now, some people get lucky, and I'm not going to say that that's not an important thing to understand about yourself. If you're lucky in life, if you're really skilled at something, you should know that about yourself. However, for the majority of us, it's going to take numbers. Good business models are determined by whether or not you have good numbers. Good academic performance is good numbers. It comes down to consistently producing. So this is my 101st video, right? I said to myself, hey, I'm gonna make 100 videos, and as soon as I hit 100, I'm successful, I'm good, I'm a YouTuber. That's it. But I didn't say to myself that as soon as I hit 100 videos, I'm gonna stop. Because what's the point, right? I did all of this work. My public speaking skills have improved. My habit formation has improved. My subject material, my ability to hold people's attention, I believe, has improved. Why would I give that gift up? Why would I not pursue that? When the goal in the first place, which should be actually the crux of everything here, if you want to be successful, numbers are important in your life. If you're saying, I don't give a shit about success, and I'm just gonna live my life the way that I need to live it, so be it. This is not the video for you. But I'll tell you right now, regardless of any field that you're in, any form of human or maybe even natural succession in this world is determined by rote progression. Rote progression. Every day, we must produce. I had a philosophical conversation with one of my close friends a long time ago about numbers in life as well. How ones and zeros seem to make incredible observations of this incredibly complex, chaotic world, chaotic universe. How numbers have the ability to give us a realm in which we feel comfortable in understanding all of this chaos, right? Science is based on numbers. Hard science, soft science, numbers versus qualitative data. Numbers are incredibly important in our day and age. They define humanity as it is currently. Without numbers, we wouldn't have any gauge of where we've been, right? We wouldn't know what time it is. We wouldn't know where in our human progression we are, right? Like what year it is. We wouldn't know what day of the month it is. Time in general. Every major force that represents a paradigm which we have to exist in, we have derived a system of numbers that allows us to quantify it, to make it so that we're comfortable with what's going on in this very complex system. So that's another reason numbers are important for success. I always say, if something happens twice, it's bound to happen again. Coincidence, perhaps, but this can also be extrapolated to data in general in your life, right? If you're trying to get an understanding of how things work in your world as a child, it's gonna come down to the amount of people or the amount of situations that arise that can fit into that box of the thing that you're trying to define. In other words, in order for us to understand life in a wise, accurate manner, we need to have a number of observations that is rational for a conclusion, okay? So that's why numbers are important, right? Even if you're creating, you're learning every single time that you're creating something. If you're trying to be financially independent, if you're trying to be a motivator for people, if you're trying to be just happy in life, it comes down to the number of days and the amount of time in a given day that you spend in that state of mind. How many hours did you spend doing this thing? The caveat, which many of you might be thinking about, is what about quality, man? Woman, Tarab, what do you say of quality? Where does quality fit into all this? Why would I just produce? First of all, you need to know yourself. If you're someone that since childhood, you have genuinely enjoyed getting really into something and producing something that took a lot of your time and making something you're really proud of, you have to probably continue doing that in your life in order to feel like you're being authentic to yourself, right? You have to do that. Most of us, however, fall into a category where we just kind of stumbled across most things in our life. Some things in our life we're pretty good at. We know. We can take care of that. But at the end of the day, both have to give, right? The person that produces a lot and doesn't have quality, and the person that has plenty of quality and does not produce a lot, they need to fall somewhere in the middle. That makes sense. So that they're getting the data that they need out of life, and that they're also producing and having satisfaction in the things that they're making, right? For instance, these videos for me, I want to make sure that I'm conveying a part of my soul in each of these videos, because I believe that I am someone who is necessarily, at some point in his life, going to master what it means to be an emotionally intelligent person. I may not get to talk to people every day at a level where I can convey my wisdom, but I make these videos so that anytime anyone watches them, they get a bit of inspiration out of it. And I do it every day because I say to myself, listen, it doesn't matter if I messed up yesterday. It really doesn't. What matters is, did I put my soul and my emotion into it? That's what matters to me, because that's what people feel, and that's what this world is really about. Our happiness comes down to the depth of emotion that we put into a thing. And you can do that daily. In fact, you should do that daily, because that is an exercise, a necessary muscle we gotta build in order to be satisfied in situations that are not ideal. Fine. But I have plenty of videos about that, dealing with unideal situations. I say all of this to remind you that though you live in a world that you may not agree with, okay? Though it may irk you at the things that are going on, like it irks me, understand that your role in this life is no different than any other organism. That your prowess and your progress in life is really determined no differently than any other organism on this planet. The reality is, every organism needs numbers. We came up with this to define organic systems. So, use them. Use the numbers, okay? And now, let me give you a video right here that's gonna tell you about one number one, the only word that you'll ever need in order to determine whether or not you're successful in life. So go check this out. I'll see you over there. And guess what? I make these videos to help you actualize your potential and help myself actualize mine. Have a beautiful day. Take care.